Last week, the temperatures finally cooled, but the shorter days meant some very quick trips, and I needed a really quick bite. Yeah, the sun has gone to bed, but we have a few minutes, and I'm gonna see if I can get on a bass. When time is limited and I really need a bite, I rely on the old Ned Rig. On this night, I'm throwing a zman TRD in green pumpkin on a 1/16 ounce zman nedlockz jig head, and the Ned Rig came through in a pinch with limited time.
Not the giant I'm looking for, but a fish before sunset. Yeah, so I'm out here, had just a few minutes, saw some movement over here, decided to come give it a try, and it paid off. Gone.
With the light from a nearby baseball field, I was able to continue fishing even after dark, and man, did I need that light. This was the most subtle bite I have ever had on a Ned Rig. The line was just barely moving away from me. I let it swim and set the hook on yet another tiny little bass.
In the dark, another little bass.
A few days later, I was able to squeeze in a few more minutes to get out and fish after work. I used the Tickler Z in green pumpkin again, and in the first few minutes, caught this little bass from a storm drain.
Little bitty dude.
After a few more minutes of no bass on green pumpkin, I decided to switch to a new color I found that I'm very excited about. It's called Twilight by Z-Man, and on the first cast, this happened.
That's a fish. Little bitty dude. First cast. Back in. I mean, that color may be the deal, man.
I walked down the retaining wall and picked up one more small bass on Twilight. Committed to not just catching dinks, a few minutes later I would hook into a nice fish and one of the best fights I have had this year.
There's a follower. Got a catfish, man. Not what I drew up. Catch. Well, I wasn't expecting a catfish. Thought it was a big bass when it hit.
Gotcha. I think you're like the third person I've seen catch something here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I catch them at a bad time. I don't see anyone, but
Well, there's a lot of them in here. They're usually little though.
you can't take them, right? Or
I don't.
you don't?
No, sir. But yeah, that's about a 2.5 pound channel cat.
I spent the next few minutes showing a young man what to use and how to catch him in this little pond. The next morning, I had a few minutes to get out again, and I made a run around this little pond. The Ned Rig is perfect next to the water pushing in from this pump. It mimics crustaceans or small minnows, but things that would be stirred up by the water. There is a grass line that runs right up next to where the water is shooting in, and there's a small channel between that grass line and the water. In that location, there's often a bass.
All right. Got one on the Ned Rig.
On the other side of the inflow, it's almost the exact same situation. There's a grass line, and the water, as it hits, pushes that back just a few feet, and there's often a bass sitting right on the corner of that grass line.
What's a better fish? All right, yet another nice little bass.
And so with minutes left before I had to be at work, I decided to try fishing the pipes one time. These pipes run parallel to a drainage ditch that often holds fish.
Right where it should have been.
And while that was the last bass of my morning, it was not the last bass of my day. I had a few minutes right at sunset to get out, and the corner of this dock is a little bit deeper and is usually good for a Ned Rig bass.
That was a great fight. Great fight. Loved it. All right, sun is setting. Caught one.
I am so thankful that the cooler temps are allowing me to get out there again and create some special moments on the water and to have some memorable catches. If you haven't tried it yet, the Ned Rig is an amazing lure. It allows you to get out even when the bite is tough and catch those fish. You can swim it, you can drag it, and you can jig it. Thanks so much for stopping by. We hope to see you out there on the water searching for that perfect combo.